Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on King John, and today we get to hear from the Earl of Pembroke in Act 4, Scene 2. So Act 4, Scene 2, we are in a room in King John's palace, and since he kind of sort of beat France and took Arthur prisoner and told Hubert that he should kill Arthur, but then Hubert didn't actually kill Arthur, he decided that he needs to celebrate a little bit, so he had himself re-coronated, which is maybe a little weird because he was excommunicated, which isn't the same as abdicating the throne. So he didn't really need to be re-coronated. He just decided that he would, and that this was a bit of pomp and circumstance that was necessary for things. But in Act 4, Scene 2, he's hanging out with Salisbury and Pembroke, who are kind of giving him a reality check and being like, well, that was kind of a superfluous thing that you just did, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's not necessarily going to make a difference that you coronated yourself a second time. And King John's like, no, I'll show that I'm different, and this is a different section of my reign or whatever. He's like, ask me something. You go ahead, ask me whatever, and I will listen, and I will do my best to accommodate. So go ahead, ask me for something. And Pembroke says, then I, as one that am the tongue of these, to sound the purposes of all their hearts, both for myself and them, but chief of all your safety, for the which myself and them bend their best studies, heartily request the enfranchisement of Arthur, whose restraint doth move the murmuring lips of discontent to break into this dangerous argument. If what in rest you have, in right you hold, why then your fears, which, as they say, attend the steps of wrong, should move you to mew up your tender kinsman, and to choke his days with barbarous ignorance, and deny his youth the rich advantage of good exercise. That the time's enemies may not have this to grace occasions, let it be our suit, that you have bid us ask his liberty, which for our goods we do no further ask. Then, whereupon our weal on you depending, counted your weal, he have his liberty. So, Pembroke uses this very moment to say, you know how you could show that you're different? Let Arthur go. Let him go. Just free him. Free him right now. The people don't like it that you've taken him hostage. It'll show that you're different. Let him go. This is the best thing that you can do right now. And King John is like, sure, yes, I will do that. And then Hubert enters. Good old token citizen Hubert. And King John is like, Hubert, come here, let's chat for a moment. And Pembroke and Salisbury have a little back and forth over here where they're like, this doesn't sound good, because that's the guy who I saw had a piece of paper saying that he was supposed to kill Arthur, and here he is to do this thing. And King John turns back around and he's like, sadly, Arthur has died. This gentleman told us that Arthur died yesterday. And Pembroke and Salisbury are like, oh yeah, that fever that he had must have taken him. And they leave essentially knowing that Arthur was murdered at King John's request, and they go off in a huff because they're very upset about this, but they haven't shown all of their cards to King John yet. And then a messenger comes in and says, I have some news from France. There's an army being built. And King John is like, how is it that I didn't know that there was, like, my mom's in France. Why did she not tell me that they're building an army? And the messenger's like, 'cause she died. And then like 3 days before she died, Constance also died. So that's why you didn't know any of this. And King John is like, oh, crap. And then Philip the Bastard enters with more news that we get to hear about tomorrow. So, yay! This play continues to be a soap opera, and yeah, we'll get to see how all of the rest of it unravels in the next couple of weeks. But we'll be back for tomorrow, some more King John, Act 4, Scene 2. I'll see you then. Mwah.